Yo, what is this? Creep show art? Why are you commentating over a speed paint? You fucking lazy piece of shit. Listen. I'm not gonna go down that road. I'm not gonna go start making art commentating videos because it's just not my thing, okay? And, I just decided I would do this because it fits the occasion, This is about art community. Let's make it like an art community video. Also, I don't have any gameplay because I barely play games. But the truth of the matter is, we're here to talk about art. And I've detested the art community since the beginning of time. I've seen this community bully and harass and destroy so many random fucking people that did maybe minor crimes to maybe no crimes at all. In this case, it's even debatable if this guy did a crime. But it's the whole thing on cancel culture. But the art community is really potent in that love energy. There's a thing in art community where they love to bully. Okay, no one likes to say it. No one admits that they like bullying because the whole thing is that the art community is cloaked by these great, sensitive, emotional people. But the truth is, it's full of people who want to bully people. All they have to do is find a person who did something a little wrong, and that gives them justification to fucking bully and harass the shit out of that person. And this is just like the case in cancel culture, but art specifically, because when you fuck up as a YouTuber, you fuck up because maybe you scammed a bunch of children, maybe you laughed at a dead body, maybe you, what's a recent thing? Like, I don't know, like cheated on your wife, who's another YouTuber. Yeah, I get it. When it comes to the art community, it's really less of stuff like that and more of like art theft or, shit like that. Or like, oh, they made controversial art or some shit, right? I am against plagiarism. I'm against copying works. I'm against referencing without asking. I'm against, it's all fucked up. We all can agree on that. However, when you get like this 14-year-old kid who copied like some anime drawing without, and then like she posted on her Instagram and everyone's like, oh my god, kill the kid, kill the fucking kid, stab her in the kidneys. Like, it's like, dude, she's a fucking 14-year-old kid who fucked up. Everyone does that shit. And you know what's sad is that these are other 14-year-olds and 16-year-olds going, oh, fucking destroy her life, make fun of her, and then you know what? You push them to do more fucked up shit. It's say more fucked up because they're kids. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. So they say one thing that's weird, like one little thing, and then you fucking bully them out of existence. Now that I've established my overwhelming hate for the community, now let's try to appeal to the community by talking about their recent drama, which is the Jake Parker situation. For those of you non-artists, Jake Parker is the creator of Inktober, and it's essentially a challenge where every October you have to draw a drawing every day of that month in ink. So he has like these prompts for each day. Some people create their own prompts, some people go without prompts, but it's a nice little challenge to get your drawing gears and motors running. But recently I've been told from a friend that the man behind that thing has been cancelled for stealing and copying someone else's work. Now, I didn't really give a shit because I was going to do it anyways. I don't care. What the fuck, right? At this point, it was less of Jake Parker's thing and more of a community thing. And it wasn't like he was earning any money from it either, so I didn't think it would hurt to still participate. So weeks went, and I just didn't think about it until I decided, I'll check out the situation for myself. And so I found the video, which is the expose video, 33 minutes. God, can you guys stop fucking making 57, like an hour, like a half of fucking Tarantino movie long films? I can't fucking watch all this shit. I have other things to do. Anyways, I watched the 57-minute long video, and essentially what's happening is that Jake Parker released a book called the Inktober book, and in the beginning there's some sections talking about the basics of ink. The rest of the book is about the challenge itself, I guess. And this guy called Alfonso Dunn, he has another book called Pen and Ink, drawing in pen and ink, which is from years ago, much before this Inktober book, and he claims that Jake Parker stole from him, and he shows an hour long of examples. Actually, it's mostly like 40 minutes of examples, and then 10 minutes of him talking about how hard he worked on the book. It's like, okay. But I ended up watching the whole thing, and I gotta say, this whole situation is complete bullshit. The examples this man gives is fucking absurd. It's absurd. I don't understand. I was so perplexed that there's this whole community of artists artists that watched that video and went, oh yeah, he stole, and couldn't understand. None of this is just basic principles that we all learn in school. Now, I don't want to make a 10-hour long expose, half fucking Christopher Nolan film of a video, so I'm gonna keep this short and pick out the points to make general examples of why his other points suck. If you guys think I missed out a golden point, then fucking leave it in the comments and I'll respond through the comments. An example is this.
Effective pen control. Control. Basic types of strokes. He calls it basic strokes.
Wow, you fucking saint! Came up with basic strokes? I mean, what kind of genius is this man? He came up with basic strokes. I mean, I don't understand. I haven't heard anyone use that term in my entire life. Oh my, basic strokes. Oh, this man is a god amongst men. This is the equivalent of someone saying this guy copied my math book because you use multiplication. Some people even say, oh, that's not the point. He's not talking about that. Then why is it in the video? Can I ask, why is that in the video? And why is majority of the video him talking about how these techniques that he came up with is in Jake Parker's video? Despite the fact that those techniques are well-known techniques that have lasted and has been existing for years. You don't believe me? Wow, there you go. More examples of that. Variation in line. Well, there you go. There's so many examples of everything in Alfonso Dunn's book. Most things in Alfonso Dunn's book isn't even original because he's using pre-existing concepts. Like, for example, here he's talking about how he decided to say that show 3 sides of a three-dimensional object to show more three-dimensionality instead of 2 or 1. And he's saying Jake Parker copied because he used 3. Well, you know what? I use 3. And everyone else does. Do you know why? What is the maximum amount of sides you can see on a 3-dimensional prism? Or at least a rectangular prism? Fucking 3! That's just math!
2-step, 3-step scale, 6-step scale. 2-step scale, 3-step scale, 6-step scale.
And then he decides to go and say, oh, he chose 3 values just like mine. Well, let me explain something. If you have 3 sides, why the fuck would you choose 4 values or 5 values? You have 3 sides. 3 values is the simplest way to divide between 3 sides. What? I learned this shit when I was 6. I'm being serious. And obviously, what's the next step over 3? 6. Because then you can divide the 2 into gradations. This is obvious. This is like things I learned in school. And then he's like mad that Jake Parker also has those things. It's like, no. You're upset that someone else drew a fucking cube. Think about that for a second. And for those who are saying, no, that's not what it's about. It's about the layout. Okay? He copied the layout of the pages. All right? Well, for those of you who say that.
When I look at that, I immediately see the layout that I used in my book. All right? Here I discussed materials.
It's not even the same layout. It's literally a different layout. And you know what's funny? Most of these pages are different layouts. They have similar things because they're talking about similar things. Yeah, but the layout is different. You know how many textbooks have similar layouts? You know why? Because they're textbooks. There is only a handful of ways you can present that information in an effective way. And this isn't even the same layout. So what's the point? What is copied here? That he uses the same material? Did you create the pen? So what is the problem? You're both talking about pen and ink, right? So obviously he's gonna have a pen, and he's gonna have pens. There are times when he's looking through stuff and it's like he just finds out they're different.
Notice he doesn't use the word strokes. I guess that would be a dead giveaway. Pen control. He took the pen off and just left control. Now, I discussed consistency, not in this chapter, but in shading. Oh, but he switched the direction.
And it's like, oh, obviously he did it because it would have been too obvious. If I no, it's just different because they're 2 different people making similar topics. You're both talking about pen and ink. Obviously, you're gonna have similarities, a lot of similarities, and these similarities are techniques which you don't own. And you complain about layout design. They're different, and I've proven to them that most of them are different. They're completely different. You're literally, he's in a landscape and you're in a portrait. So already the construction has to be different of how things are laid out. I will give him 1 point. Okay, the texture thing, I have not seen anyone do that. I've only seen this from this book. Maybe I'm just ignorant, but I haven't been able to find it. I have found some online, but not the way he does it. And you could argue that Jake Parker copied your texture thing. But every other example you've given have been complete bullshit. And it's funny, you realize when someone is being canceled but they really don't deserve, is when you realize people make a lot of excuses for it. You know, when it's not just one thing. A lot of people are saying Jake Parker is fucking canceled. The examples they're pulling up are like, oh, he copied and he did this and he did this and all this shit. He has like two other records. Similar thing to what happened with Holly Brown. Just not enough evidence. So just pull up every little dirt you can find. And what's funny is that the other two thing about Jake Parker that he tried to trademark the word Inktober, and he was upset about people who use digital to do Inktober. Those are all solved problems. He went back on all those things. So why are they being brought up? Why are they being brought up? So now I've basically shown that the plagiarism situation is not as black and white as you think. It is very much not as black and white. It is so vague and gray. You could, yeah, maybe Jake Parker did, but there just isn't even enough evidence to even make a legal case. So what the fuck are you doing? And I know what he's doing. That video is a 57-minute advertisement of his book, okay? And I'm being serious. If I was Alfonso Dunn, I would have probably done the same. You could tell from the comments, a lot of people canceled the order for Inktober book to buy Alfonso's book. That's some sales. He just made money. He made a business decision. The problem is that the community just went ape shit. I think the strongest point Alfonso had against Jake Parker was that Jake Parker actually owns his book. So there's a higher chance, and probably a really large chance, that he looked through that entire book and maybe use it as a guideline, you know, like, you know, when you ask your friend for his essay, you don't copy anything on him, but you structure your essay similar to his because you know his essay got a fucking A and you want an A. Okay, I do think that's probably the most likely situation that happened. However, that's an assumption I made. You can't cancel someone from an assumption that this is the way they worked on their thing. And there's too much assumption going on that this whole thing is done under bad blood. And I think Jake Parker probably did look at Alfonso's book as an inspiration for his. Maybe he looked at it a long time ago and he just mortalized the memory somewhere in his head, and then it just came out unnaturally. Or maybe he did look at it as a guideline. But the truth of the matter is, Jake Parker did change up enough things to be considered a different book. And if you think it's too similar, go look at any two art books on the same cause. Go pick out two anatomy books and then tell me how similar they are. In fact, go pick up a dictionary. Go pick up two dictionaries from two different brands and see how many words overlap. But obviously there are things that was pretty original to him, like the texture thing, which I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, that looks pretty suspicious to me. But if you really had this problem, then you should have contacted him first, especially when it's not that 100% apparent that he copied. Again, I'm not concluding things, or I'm not saying certain things is absolute. I'm not saying Jake Parker did or did not plagiarize. I'm saying that the evidence is pretty darn slim. Yes, they use similar techniques. Yes, some of the wording is similar, but they're both pen and ink books, and by nature, I do think they have to be similar. And when it comes to his intellectual property, I think the only things we can say he owns are the drawings he produced for the book, the layout of the book, and the written work of the book. Drawings, though similar, are not copied. Jake Parker did do the illustrations himself. The layout, again, I proved that the similarities are pretty slim, sometimes even none at all. And the writing is probably not the same. I can't fucking vouch for that, but if the writing is the same, then yeah, go launch a lawsuit against the man. But I don't want this to come off as that I am that angry at Alfonso Dunn. Again, I do understand that in his perspective it can seem very frustrating, and since he wrote the book, to him it may seem a lot more than what meets the eye. Though what I'm really upset is that this community, without looking at any of the facts in this situation, decided to just hate, destroy, attack Jake Parker. When in reality, if you looked at the situation, you would know that things are not that black and white, and you can't just decide to cancel someone based on certain assumptions you have on the process he went through to create his creative work. Which is again why I would never want to be part of this community. It is a devastating place where your job or your life can be taken away like that. To be fair, his points were really bad. I would have never expected it to be this bad and to get this much following against him. I don't know. You know, it's not about how good your argument is. It's not about how whether your argument is proven. It's whether people hear it. And if they hear it, they'll take it as fact and hate without looking, which is crazy. I can't imagine a human being being that fucking dumb. But I guess they exist out there. Cancel culture is the most garbage thing in the universe, and I'll see you guys next time.